At orientation, they told us that we needed to take this class called UNI, that it was required for all freshmen, and that it's supposed to make you a better student at UNCW. They told us that there were all kinds of different programs, that you could link it with other classes, that for your intended major, and then they told us about the EDGE program.
The EDGE program is a type of uni class that is more community service oriented, and I chose that because a lot of people said that uni was pointless and you just sat through class for no reason, so I wanted to make it more worth it, and I figured that if I was in a freshman seminar class that didn't have much work to begin with, I might as well make something of it and get some community service hours out of it. So that's why I chose the EDGE program.
The EDGE program is a program that offers students the opportunity to volunteer within their community and help better it. And I chose the EDGE program because I've always been involved with community service and I wanted to give back to the community in Wilmington, and I felt like it would be a great experience for my freshman year seminar class.
Shortly after the class started, we began thinking about what kind of service project we really wanted to do. Originally we were going to work with animals, but honestly that just didn't work out too well for us.
Originally my group was going to volunteer with animals at a dog shelter, but we realized that it was 45 minutes away, so we had to pick a new project, and we ended up doing tutoring kind of as a backup, but I ended up enjoying it anyways. It was difficult to find a project, but I'm really glad we chose what we did.
So Lauren found this opportunity to tutor Burmese kids. It kind of just fell into our laps, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be this awful tutor. How in the world am I going to help teach these kids anything? They're going to hate me. I'm just some girl who is making them do their homework and doesn't understand anything they're going through. But all those thoughts were really wrong, and I'm really glad that they were.
Every week, the same volunteer stayed with the same child when tutoring, and I thought that was very beneficial for the children. Just to work with the same person every week makes things a little bit easier. And I tutored a boy from Thailand, and I absolutely loved it. He was a sophomore in high school. He played on the soccer team, and I love soccer, so we bonded over that kind of. He would tell me about how good he was, what positions he played, and like how his team was doing and stuff. So that was like one way for us to bond once we were done with his homework. He usually only had math, and I also enjoy math, so we bonded over that too. Like, it was easier for me to help him because I understood the subject, and math is also easier to tutoring kind of because they don't speak English too well, or some of them don't because they just came here. He's been here for about 1.5 years, so he can read and at a beginner level, and he can speak, so it was kind of hard to explain some math problems to him sometimes when he didn't know the words I was using in English, or he couldn't read the word problems, so that was a little difficult. But the job I thought was very rewarding because once he finally got it, I felt like I did a good job teaching him, and I hoped that he would succeed in school as well.
When we first started tutoring children, I actually started working with this girl named Bar, and I began tutoring her in math, and she's actually a high school student, and we worked together for about 2 weeks, 2 sessions, and then I started working with AOSA, and she's actually in 5th grade, and we bonded over the last month. When we first started this project, I didn't understand how it would impact me, and I feel like you go in thinking that you're going to change the kids' lives, but they actually change yours, and it really opened up my mind as to how you can see things differently through a child's perspective, and they can really change your opinion on things.
I tutored this 7th grade girl named Na. She's honestly one of the sweetest little girls I've ever met. Every week we would come in and we'd start on our math homework. I'd ask her if she had any tests or quizzes that we could study for, and then we'd work on reading comprehension. That was one of the biggest things that I noticed. We would do her math homework, and I'd ask her to read the directions, and she could read them out loud, but she didn't understand what I was asking her to do. She'd look at me and say, I don't know how to do this. But I knew she knew how to do it because we'd done problems like it before, and I'd explain it to her, and she'd get that light bulb moment look on her face where she understood, and she'd smile and laugh and say, oh, I get it now, and she'd have 5 or 10 problems done before I could even catch up. And there was just this huge disconnect with what she was reading out loud and what she could actually understand. So we worked on that a lot, and those moments when she could understand, when she could comprehend what she was reading, that was what was most rewarding, knowing that I helped her get to that point.
I think the need to pay it forward is very great today. A lot of us forget how privileged we are to have an education and to be able to go to school and afford college. And tutoring the Burmese children really reminded me of that. I had a great experience with that. I had a great time, and I think that the kids coming every week, I think they enjoy learning because it's something new to them. They're learning English, they're in a better school system, and their parents are working really hard to keep them here. So I think that their lives are affected greatly by the work that we did, and it affected my life too, because it really reminded me of how lucky I was. And I think that I really want to continue working with this group because it's such a fulfilling volunteer program.
I think it's important to pay it forward because we need to help better our community, and it starts with one person doing a good deed and paying it forward to 3 other people that can in turn into something bigger than what you would actually realize. And I hope that after doing this project that we have impacted these children's lives as they have also impacted ours, and I hope that we will also continue to pay it forward in our lives. And I think this project has really opened my eyes as to how you can impact someone's life. No matter how small or how big the impact is, you can still change their attitude or change their opinion on something.
I think the phrase "pay it forward" has a lot of high expectations connected to it. One person can't change the world, not by themselves anyway. You need the help of other people. These little tiny random acts of goodness, that's what can change the world. And it doesn't have to be this huge, life-changing event. You can do something as simple as showing up every week to tutor the same kid, or helping an elderly woman carry her groceries out to her car. Little things like that can really change people's lives more than we will ever know. So on our last night of tutoring, we decided that we were going to make bracelets for all the kids that we've been tutoring, and the leaders that were in charge of this program gave each of us a bracelet and told us to tie it onto the wrist of the student that we've been tutoring, and then they gave each of the students a bracelet and told them to tie it on our wrist. And it just became this visible representation of the connections that we formed, and not just how we've touched their lives, but also how they've touched ours. It really became this physical representation of the bond that we've created, all because we were trying to pay it forward.